Hello everyone, this is Bart Hopkin. I'm the maker of the musical instruments in Soundiron's series of sample libraries called Hopkin Instrumentarium. And in this video, I'm going to talk about one of those instruments, namely this one, Miago Trod. You can see Miago Trod consists of a bunch of steel rods which can be played with mallets. They can be played by percussion. We've got a couple of upper tiers here which together form a chromatic scale, and some longer lower ones here, which also form a complementary scale here. The two parts actually are quite different. You play them with different mallets, like this. This is the mallet for the lower ones. And the upper ones are played with this. This is actually a ping pong ball mallet. Good when you need a light, hard mallet. Hard but lightweight. Very different tone quality, so it's almost like two instruments in one. Now, these rods, you'll notice, are relatively long. Compared, for instance, to kalimbatines, they're longer than typical kalimbatines. And what that means is that the fundamental in this instrument, the fundamental of these vibrating rods, is subsonic. It's below the hearing range. The mode of vibration that produces the fundamental tone is below the hearing range. You can almost see that here. If I pluck this, you can almost see the rods swinging back and forth. That's too slow to be heard. So what you're hearing when you strike them, what you're hearing is some mix of overtones above the fundamental. And those overtones in a case like this and this kind of rod, they are inharmonic. I've tried to tame the inharmonics a little bit by putting these weights on it. What's happening there is that you can't hear the fundamental, the true fundamental. Your ear focuses on another low, strong vibration, but one that's above the fundamental, and focuses on that as the identifying pitch, as the pseudo-fundamental, you could say. And what I've done here is I have placed these weights such that the next overtone above that pseudo-fundamental is in a more coherent relationship with the fundamental than it would otherwise be. Typically when I do something like that, I try and put them an octave or two above that second overtone. In this case, that didn't really work very well, so I put it a 12th above, which is another nice interval that the ear kind of accepts as making a coherent tone with a clear sense of pitch. I can actually demonstrate that overtone for you. Here's the tone, the whole composite tone. And here is that pseudo-fundamental damped out, and we're going to hear that tuned overtone above it at the 12th. 12th plus an octave or two. And here's the tone together again. Now, one of the main things I was thinking about when I was designing and building this instrument was the question of shared resonances. If you look at this instrument, everything about it is pretty rigid. You got this rigid rod attached to this rigid bar, rigidly attached to the next rod over another. Everything is connected, and that means that there's a lot of interaction between this rod and all the other rods. Everything is a lot of transmission of vibration, a lot of modes of vibration in interaction all through this instrument, which can be very beautiful because it makes for a very rich and complex kind of tone. It can also be very problematic because these different modes of vibration are sometimes at war with each other. They're sometimes in conflict with each other. Let me illustrate what I'm saying by giving a contrary example. Think of string instruments. The strings in a string instrument, they interact to some degree. You'll sometimes get some sympathetic vibration here and there and that kind of thing, but they don't interact that much. No string is prevented from vibrating at the frequency it wants to go at because some other string disagrees. And that's because they're relatively independent. They're not so rigidly connected with each other. They're not even that rigid in themselves. However, with this thing, there's all kinds of interaction which can be conflicting or reinforcing or somewhere in between or who knows what. So that's a lot of what this instrument is about. These very, very rich, complex tones, which are largely a result of all these interacting shared resonances throughout the instrument. If you buy the Miago Trod sound library from Soundiron, you'll get all these sounds. And believe me, the engineers at Soundiron know how to get every cool sound out of whatever they're working with. So you'll get a nice array of possibilities out of that sound library. You'll also get the software tools that will allow you to alter them further if you choose to do so. So I'm hoping that hearing my thoughts as the maker of the instrument will help you in turn have a sense of where you'd like to go with these sounds. Thanks much.